Welcome to News Beacon, your trusted source for breaking headlines, global insights, and sharp analysis from around the world. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. The announcement hit the defense world like a thunderclap. The Pentagon was launching the Super A-10 program. For years, the original A-10 Thunderbolt II, the Warthog, was considered obsolete, slow, and vulnerable. Yet, suddenly the plan wasn't just to save it but to transform it into a futuristic war machine. Military forums and defense ministries worldwide buzzed with one question: why bring back the Warthog now? The reveal was pure military marketing, slick videos of a sleeker, meaner Warthog still wielding its iconic GAU-8 Avenger cannon, now bristling with advanced missiles and pods. The message: this was not your father's A-10. The price tag? $3 billion just for RD. Staggering, but justified by the promise of a battlefield-dominating machine. The debate over air power had raged for years. The Air Force wanted stealthy, multi-role fighters like the F-35, while ground troops fought to keep their dedicated close air support. The Super A-10 was a sudden, unexpected victory for the Warthog supporters. It validated the idea that a specialized ground attack plane was still necessary. The narrative was irresistible. An underdog's triumphant return, a beloved old warrior reborn with cutting-edge tech. Allies were cautiously optimistic. Adversaries saw a new threat. The Super A-10 wasn't just a plane, it was a statement of intent from the US military. It signaled a renewed commitment to overwhelming power on the front lines. The world watched, wondering if the Warthog could really be reborn. The Super A-10 was envisioned as the ultimate hybrid, the brute force of the original Warthog fused with modern tech to survive today's battlefields. The goal? A plane that could fly low and slow, protect ground troops, and counter advanced missiles, drones, and electronic warfare. The F-35 was expensive and limited in payload. The Super A-10 would be the sledgehammer, loitering, tough, and devastating. It was meant to fill the gap for close air support, delivering massive firepower precisely where needed. Tactically, it would be the ground troops' guardian angel. Strategically, it was a hedge against the soaring costs and vulnerabilities of fifth-gen fighters. By upgrading a proven airframe, the Pentagon hoped for a capable aircraft at a fraction of the cost of a new design. The Super A-10 was a bridge between eras, a giant cannon for the mud, sensors, and stealth for the digital age. The aim was to create a platform that could dominate today's conflicts and adapt to tomorrow's. It was a bold attempt to blend strength and smarts, but could it really deliver both? The Super A-10's design overhaul started with new adaptive cycle engines, faster, more efficient, and harder to target with heat-seeking missiles. Engine pods were reshaped and cooled for stealth. The cockpit was transformed out, went analog dials. In came a panoramic touchscreen and helmet-mounted display, giving the pilot instant integrated battlefield awareness. The legendary GAU-8 Avenger cannon stayed, but was joined by redesigned wings with more hardpoints for smart bombs and long-range missiles. This meant striking from outside enemy air defenses, a huge leap from the original's risky, low-level attacks. Defensive upgrades included a 360-degree missile warning system and advanced jammers. Survivability was boosted with new composite armor and a partially stealthy airframe. The titanium bathtub for the pilot remained, but the rest of the plane was lighter and tougher. While never a true stealth jet, the Super A-10's radar-absorbent coatings and reshaped fuselage made it much harder to spot. The result, a smarter, deadlier, and more survivable Warthog. On paper, it was a ground attack legend reborn for the digital age. In action, the Super A-10 was designed to be a game-changer for ground troops. Imagine soldiers pinned down. Now, air support arrives instantly. The Super A-10, loitering high above, receives a digital call for help. Its sensors cut through smoke and weather, identifying friend and foe with precision. From a safe distance, it launches GPS-guided bombs, neutralizing threats before the enemy even hears it coming. Once defenses are down, it swoops in low, using helmet cues to target vehicles and unleash the iconic brrrr of its cannon. This blend of standoff precision and up-close lethality was its core strength. The Super A-10 could act as sniper, brawler, or battlefield manager, coordinating with drones and artillery. It promised ground troops the ultimate trump card circling above, ready to strike at a moment's notice. The Super A-10 dream unraveled almost immediately. Costs exploded. $3 billion for R&D ballooned to over $9 billion before a prototype even flew. Integrating next-gen tech into a 1970s airframe proved a nightmare. New engines didn't fit. Added weight demanded major redesigns, and software glitches plagued the digital backbone. The analog Warthog wasn't built for this level of complexity. Feature creep set in, with each new system adding more problems. Meanwhile, US strategy shifted toward the Pacific, where long-range, stealthy jets, not slow ground attack planes, were needed. The Pentagon saw the Super A-10 as a costly relic, diverting funds from F-35S and bombers. A scathing government report sealed its fate, calling it an expensive marginal upgrade at F-35 prices. Political support vanished overnight. On August 1, 2025, the Secretary of Defense canceled the program, calling it a painful but necessary decision. The Super A-10's spectacular debut ended in an equally spectacular collapse. The lesson: you can't bolt a digital future onto an analog past. The Warthog's rebirth was over before it began. The original A-10's genius was its simplicity. Built to kill Soviet tanks, it was tough, cheap, and brutally effective. Everything served its single purpose: a flying cannon, armored for survival, easy to maintain, and optimized for low and slow attack. It thrived because it was focused and specialized. The Super A-10 failed by abandoning this philosophy. It tried to be everything: stealthy, digital, multi-role. The result? A web of complexity the rugged airframe couldn't support. The original was a bottom-up design, built for the pilot and ground troops. The Super A-10 was a top-down concept, forced into a modern doctrine it wasn't meant for. The original Warthog succeeded by knowing exactly what it was. The Super Warthog failed by trying to be everything at once and mastering none. In the end, the lesson was clear: focus wins wars, not feature lists. The Warthog's legacy endures because it never forgot its purpose. The Super A-10's cancellation sent shockwaves worldwide. US troops were bitter, another promise broken, another tool for ground support lost. Air Force leaders, though, quietly welcomed the end of a costly distraction. They argued the future was in stealth jets and bombers, not retrofitted relics. Allies who'd hoped for a new close air support champion were left uncertain, questioning if the F-35 could fill the Warthog's boots. Some began rethinking their own ground attack needs. Meanwhile, rivals in Moscow and Beijing saw the failure as proof of American overreach and dysfunction. The Super A-10's rise and fall became a cautionary tale, one watched closely by friend and foe alike. The world saw not just a failed plane, but a glimpse of a superpower's struggle to adapt. With the Super A-10 dead, the US military faces the same problem it tried to solve. The aging A-10C fleet gets minor upgrades, but retirement looms. There's no direct replacement in sight. The era of the dedicated ground attack jet is ending. The Air Force insists the F-35 will take over close air support, using sensors and precision weapons from high altitude. Critics doubt its loiter time, payload, and cost. Unmanned systems like loyal wingman drones are in development, promising expendable, persistent support, but they're years away. For now, close air support is a patchwork: A-10S, F-35S, F-16S, B-52S, Apaches, and drones all share the load. The need for ground support hasn't vanished, just the hope for a single, perfect solution. The future is a team effort, with each platform bringing its own strengths and weaknesses. The Warthog spirit lives on, but its era is ending. The Super A-10's failure is a lesson in technological hubris. The dream was noble: merge the best of old and new. But complexity crushed it. Adding tech couldn't fix a design built for simplicity. The project ignored the original's core principles, trying to serve two visions of war and satisfying neither. When strategy shifted, the Super A-10 became an expensive answer to yesterday's problem. The saga exposed the Pentagon's internal tug-of-war. Ground troops wanted protection, the Air Force wanted stealth and speed. The Super A-10 tried to bridge that divide and failed. Its legacy is a costly warning: you can't force a digital future onto an analog past. Purpose matters more than features. Even legends have limits. The Warthog may fly a few more years, but its failed successor haunts the Pentagon, a reminder that complexity is no substitute for clarity. Sometimes the simplest solution is the best.